Listen carefully, chosen ones, for what I'm about to tell you will upend everything you believe to be true about your fate. God Himself is directing a change that is so significant and earth-shattering that heaven is watching in anticipation right now. Don't you sense it? Like a skilled artisan, the Almighty has been observing you, preparing you, and shaping you in the dark. God is now prepared to release you into the world like an uncontrollable divine force of nature. They don't want you to know this. It wasn't punishment every time you struggled, were rejected, or felt unnoticed or unimportant. It was prepared by God. The greatest orchestration in all of creation has been led by the Almighty. And the main attraction is you, my buddy. God's spotlight of destiny is swinging at you with the ferocity of 1,000 suns at the same moment these words reach your soul. And nothing at all can thwart what the Lord has in store for you. Consider it this way. Imagine the greatest theater in heaven, where archangels and angels assemble to see the most amazing show that God Himself has ever imagined. It's almost time to raise the curtain. You're standing in the wings, poised to take on a role that will redefine what it means to be selected by the Almighty, while the angelic hosts are on the edge of their seats. It's not just your time. This is the magnificent coronation that God has planned for you. Let me start by telling you something that will completely change the way you see yourself and your whole path so far. You've been pretending that you're simply another individual attempting to survive in this world. However, it couldn't be more removed from reality. You're not like the others. You were never your usual self. You are a supernatural tool that God Himself created with a purpose so great that it is beyond our comprehension. The Almighty is signed on every fiber of your existence, something that, in accordance with God's flawless design, was supposed to appear at this precise moment in history. You weren't supposed to fit into the boxes society attempted to put you in, which is why you've always felt odd and never quite fit in. You were supposed to completely shatter the mold. You were supposed to demonstrate to the world that there's a whole new way to live, a totally different degree of presence and power that most people are unable to even imagine. And now, after years of instruction in the cosmic training ground, you are being summoned to take charge of your destiny and assert your proper position as a leader, a beacon, an inspiration to countless others, and the boss of your own destiny. Take a moment to look about you and observe how things have been changing. Aren't you being treated differently by others? Their regard for you has changed, as has their focus on your words and deeds. You are not deceived by your imagination. This is how reality itself is being adjusted by the cosmos to fit your developing power. It's becoming harder and harder to ignore the presence and energy you exude. You resemble a lighthouse that has been gradually becoming brighter. People who live far away are now beginning to see your brightness shining through the gloom of their limitations and uncertainty. Second, I want you to realize the scope of what's going on in the spiritual world at the moment. There are forces at play that function at a level that is far higher than what most people can see. And for longer than you can realize, these forces have been carefully preparing your ascent. In reality, every setback you had served as a springboard for something bigger. In reality, each door that seemed to shut was paving the way for the ideal door to open at the ideal moment. The cosmos didn't make a mistake when it chose you, and it doesn't make errors either. Everything has a perfect time, you see, and that moment is now intensifying. It wasn't because you weren't prepared for all those years when you questioned why things weren't moving more quickly, why you weren't receiving the credit you deserved, and why you felt like you were being held back while others appeared to advance. The reason for this was that the world was not prepared for you. The cosmos was still setting up the stage, putting everything in its proper place, and making sure that when your time came, it would be flawless and unstoppable. This is where things start to become really fascinating. However, God has more in store for you than a little achievement or a little advancement. No, for someone selected by the Almighty, it would be thinking too tiny. God is getting ready to launch you into a world of significance and influence that will astound you. You're going to uncover abilities you were unaware you had, gifts that God placed in your soul before to your birth. You're going to transform into a version of yourself that is so assured, so captivating, and so unquestionably anointed that everyone who sees you will know right away that they're looking at someone who has been really selected by God. This change will not happen gradually. Things move like lightning when God says it's time. One day you're wondering whether anybody will ever really notice you, and the next day you're battling for your time and attention from people all over the place. That's how God's timing works. Everything abruptly changes when your season aligns with God's plan, and you enter a whole new realm of life where you aren't chasing possibilities because God is giving opportunities to you. Third, let's discuss the particular indicators that indicate this cosmic change is already taking place in your life. It's likely that you've seen an improvement in your intuition. You're anticipating events and detecting the energy of people and situations with a precision that sometimes even shocks you. This goes beyond personal development. This is the emergence of your spiritual powers. In anticipation of the leadership position you're going to assume, your heavenly talents are becoming active. There's something about your presence that you can't quite describe. Nowadays, when you enter a room, people stop talking, turn to stare, and there's a change in the atmosphere that everyone can sense, even if they can't explain it. You attract animals more than normal. Even strangers find themselves opening up to you in almost supernatural ways, and children seem to be drawn to your energy. Your energy signature is shifting, developing, and rising to fit the cosmic role you were always destined to play, which is why this is occurring. Additionally, you're beginning to perceive things and people with an almost startling clarity. You're starting to see through the disguises people wear, the games they play, and the hidden motives behind their behavior. You will need this discerning talent in your new leadership capacity, which is why it is being awakened. If you can't see well, you can't lead others. Additionally, the universe is ensuring that you have all the resources you need to carry out your duty with strength and wisdom. The way synchronicity is growing in your life, however, may be the most important indicator. Recurring numbers appear. The timing is so perfect that it seems too good to be true. Opportunities and people show up when you need them most. These are not isolated incidents. Tremendous affirmation from the cosmos that you are on your best path and that divine forces are actively assisting you in realizing your full potential. Fourth, I want to talk about something that may be making you feel a little afraid as you consider the seriousness of what is ahead. It's normal to have a combination of anxiety and exhilaration when you're about to undergo such a significant change. Part of you might be thinking, am I really ready for this? What if I can't handle the responsibility? What if I disappoint people? Let me put those fears to rest right now with a truth that will anchor you in unshakable confidence. You were born ready. Every challenge you've faced, every obstacle you've overcome, every moment when you had to dig deep and find strength you didn't know you possessed, it was all training for this moment. The universe doesn't prepare someone for decades just to set them up for failure. You have been tested, refined, and strengthened through experiences that would have broken lesser souls. And you emerged not just intact, but more powerful than ever. That's not an accident. That's evidence of your divine nature. The nervousness you feel isn't weakness. It's reverence for the magnitude of what you're stepping into. It's your soul recognizing that you're about to cross a threshold into a completely different level of existence. And that's something that deserves respect and awe. But don't let that reverence turn into doubt. The same force that created the stars and set the planets in motion is the force that chose you for this role. And that force doesn't make mistakes. Think about every leader throughout history who changed the world. Do you think they felt completely ready when their moment came? Of course not. But they stepped forward anyway, trusting in something greater than their fears. And they discovered that they had everything they needed inside them all along. You are no different. In fact, you might be even more prepared than you realize because you've been chosen for this specific time in history when the world needs exactly what you have to offer. The universe has a way of revealing your capabilities to you gradually, so you don't become overwhelmed by the full scope of your power all at once. As you step into your new role, you'll discover abilities and strengths that you never knew existed. You'll find yourself handling situations with a grace and wisdom that amazes even you. You'll watch yourself inspire and influence others in ways that feel both natural and miraculous. Fifth, let's explore what this cosmic spotlight actually means for your day-to-day life and how dramatically things are about to change. When I say the universe is putting you in the spotlight, I'm not just talking about some vague spiritual concept. I'm talking about tangible, visible, undeniable changes that everyone around you will witness and acknowledge. People who used to overlook you will suddenly see you with new eyes. Opportunities that seemed impossible will become not just possible, but inevitable. Your words will carry more weight. Your opinions will be sought after, and your presence will command respect in ways that might surprise you at first. This isn't about developing an ego or becoming arrogant. This is about stepping into your authentic power and allowing others to recognize what was always true about you. You've always been a leader, even when you were leading from behind the scenes. You've always had profound wisdom, even when others weren't ready to hear it. Now, finally, the world is ready to receive what you've always had to give. The financial abundance that has seemed elusive will begin to flow toward you from multiple directions. Not because you're chasing it, but because you're finally aligned with your true value and purpose. When you step into your authentic power, the universe responds by ensuring you have all the resources you need to fulfill your mission. Money is just energy. And when your energy is aligned with your highest purpose, financial prosperity becomes a natural byproduct of your authentic expression. Your relationships will transform as well. Some people who couldn't handle your emerging power will naturally drift away, making room for new connections with individuals who can match your energy and support your growth. You'll attract mentors, collaborators, and supporters who recognize your potential and want to be part of your journey. These aren't just business relationships. These are soul connections with people who have been waiting their entire lives to work alongside someone of your caliber. But here's something crucial to understand. This spotlight isn't just about personal success. You're being elevated because the world needs what you have to offer. There are people out there right now who are struggling, who are lost, who are waiting for someone like you to show them the way forward. Your rise to prominence isn't just about you claiming your power. It's about you becoming the beacon of hope and inspiration that others desperately need. Sixth, I need to prepare you for the challenges that come with this level of visibility and influence. Not everyone will celebrate your emergence into power. There will be people who feel threatened by your success, who will try to diminish your achievements or question your worthiness. This isn't a reflection of any lack in you. It's a reflection of their own insecurities and limitations. When someone operates from a mindset of scarcity and competition, they can't help but see another person's success as a threat to their own possibilities. You'll encounter critics who have never achieved a fraction of what you're accomplishing, but feel qualified to judge your methods and your message. You'll face skeptics who can't comprehend the level of consciousness you're operating from. So, they'll try to reduce your impact to something they can understand and control. You might even face betrayal from people you trusted, individuals who were comfortable with the old version of you, but can't handle your transformation into something greater. But here's what you need to understand about these challenges. They're not obstacles to your success. They're confirmations of it. When you're operating at a low level of impact, nobody pays attention to what you're doing. It's only when you start to truly make a difference. When you start to shine so brightly that you illuminate the darkness in others that you attract opposition. The criticism you face will be directly proportional to the impact you're making. Every great leader throughout history faced similar challenges. They were misunderstood, criticized, and sometimes even persecuted for bringing new ideas and elevated consciousness to a world that wasn't ready for change. But they persevered because they understood something crucial. But something shifted in your spiritual receiver that changed everything. You didn't just turn off their broadcast. You hijacked their signal and started transmitting your own frequency back through their network. Every spell they cast became a pathway for your blessings to travel. Every curse they spoke became a highway for your favor to manifest. Every false prophecy they declare became a launching pad for your true destiny to explode into reality. This is why they're so confused right now. They're still broadcasting on the same frequency. But instead of limitation reaching you, abundance is flowing back to them in reverse. Instead of failure programming your mind, success is reprogramming their reality. Instead of confusion clouding your vision, clarity is exposing their strategies. The curses that were spoken over your life weren't just negative words floating in the atmosphere. There were spiritual contracts written in the realm of the invisible, designed to legally bind you to outcomes that contradicted your divine destiny. Any contract written against heaven's chosen ones without proper authority becomes null and void the moment the chosen one awakens to their true identity. You didn't just break these contracts. You invoked a spiritual clause that reversed the terms and conditions. Everything they tried to bind you to is now binding them instead. Every limitation they tried to place on your life is now limiting their own advancement. Every restriction they tried to impose on your success is now restricting their ability to prosper. This is spiritual jujitsu at its finest. You used their own force against them. You redirected their own energy to accomplish the opposite of their intentions. You turned their weapon into your tool and their trap into their prison. When they spoke poverty over your life, they unknowingly wrote themselves out of divine provision. When they declared failure over your future, they prophetically sealed their own defeat. When they cursed your relationships, they contaminated their own connections. The universe operates on a principle of perfect balance. And when someone tries to tip the scales against divine order, the scales automatically correct themselves by overcompensating in the opposite direction. The false prophecies that were spoken over your bloodline weren't just incorrect predictions. They were deliberate attempts to rewrite your spiritual DNA and alter your divine programming. These prophetic declarations were designed to override heaven's original blueprint for your life and replace it with a counterfeit destiny that would keep you operating below your true capacity. But false prophecies have a fundamental weakness that your awakening consciousness exploited perfectly. They require your agreement to maintain their power. They need your belief to sustain their influence. They depend on your acceptance to continue their manifestation. The moment you stopped believing in their version of your future, their prophecies lost all spiritual authority over your reality. You didn't just stop believing in their lies. You started believing in truth with such intensity that it created a spiritual shock wave that shattered every false prediction ever spoken over your life. Your faith in your divine destiny became so powerful that it retroactively canceled every prophecy that contradicted heaven's original plan for your existence. This is why your breakthrough feels so complete, so final, so irreversible. You didn't just overcome a temporary obstacle. You permanently deleted false programming from your spiritual operating system and restored the original divine software that was always meant to run your life. What you accomplished doesn't just affect you. The spells, curses, and false prophecies you broke were connected to a vast network of spiritual bondage that extended throughout your entire family tree. Every limitation you shattered created a ripple effect that traveled both backwards and forwards through your genetic line, liberating ancestors who died in bondage and protecting descendants who haven't been born yet. Your victory became their victory retroactively. Your breakthrough became their breakthrough across time. Your freedom became their freedom beyond the grave. You didn't just save yourself. You saved your entire bloodline from spiritual patterns that were designed to repeat indefinitely until someone with enough spiritual authority stood up and said enough. This is why your transformation feels so profound, so life-changing, so historically significant. You're not just experiencing personal breakthroughs. You're experiencing a generational breakthrough. You're not just changing your own trajectory. You're changing the trajectory of everyone connected to your DNA. Your ancestors who died without ever experiencing the fullness of their divine potential are now celebrating in the realm of the spirit because their unfinished business got completed through your victory. Your descendants, who will be born into your liberated bloodline, will never have to fight the battles you just won because you already conquered those territories for them. Understanding what you just accomplished reveals something crucial about your spiritual evolution. You've graduated from spiritual basic training and been promoted to general in the army of divine purpose. You're no longer someone who needs protection from spiritual attacks. You're someone who provides protection for others who are still learning how to fight. Your mirror doesn't just reflect attacks back to their source anymore. Your mirror has become a strategic command center that monitors spiritual activity across multiple dimensions. You can see attacks being planned before they're launched. You can detect curses being crafted before they're spoken. You can sense false prophecies being written before they're declared. This advanced level of spiritual intelligence means you are now operating in a completely different category of spiritual warfare. You're not playing defense anymore. You're playing offense. You're not just protecting your territory. You're expanding your territory. You're not just maintaining your freedom. You're liberating others who are still in bondage. Every spell you break doesn't just free you. It creates a weakness in the enemy's spiritual infrastructure that other chosen ones can exploit. Every curse you reverse doesn't just protect you. It establishes a legal precedent in cosmic court that other victims can reference. Every false prophecy you destroy doesn't just clear your future. It creates a pathway for others to escape their own prophetic prisons. Hey, this is my Canary cutting into your regularly scheduled, chosen one programming for just a moment. We are the founders of the Obsidian Inner Order and the Astral Atom Network. And we're done playing nice. We're in a spiritual war. You know it. We know it. And we're out here bleeding for this mission full time. I'm hungry for fourth-dimensional Archon blood, but we need the ammunition. So listen, when you join the Inner Order, you're not just supporting us. You're getting access to exclusive tools they never wanted you to have. Your power comes from your connection to something much greater than yourself. And as long as you remember that and honor that, you'll use your influence in ways that uplift and inspire rather than manipulate or control. You'll also need to set healthy boundaries. As your influence grows, more people will want access to your time and energy. And you'll need to learn to say no to opportunities that don't align with your highest vision, even if they seem appealing on the surface. Your time and energy are precious resources that should be invested wisely in activities and relationships that support your mission and your growth. Remember that part of your responsibility is to model what healthy success looks like. This means taking care of yourself physically, emotionally, and spiritually even as your external demands increase. You can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't lead others to a place of balance and fulfillment if you're not embodying those qualities yourself. 10th, let's explore how this transformation will ripple out to affect not just your life, but the lives of everyone around you and ultimately contribute to a larger shift in consciousness on this planet. You see, your emergence into power isn't an isolated event. You're part of a larger wave of awakening souls who are stepping into their authentic power at this crucial time in human history. Together, you're contributing to a fundamental shift in how humanity operates and what becomes possible for our species. As you step into your role as a leader and influencer, you'll inspire others to examine their own lives and consider what might be possible if they too aligned with their highest purpose. Your example will plant seeds of possibility in minds that have been trapped in limitation and fear. People will look at your transformation and think, if they can do it, maybe I can too. This isn't just about individual success stories. This is about collective evolution. As more and more people step into their authentic power and begin operating from love rather than fear, from abundance rather than scarcity, from unity rather than separation, the entire fabric of society begins to change. New solutions emerge for old problems. New possibilities open up that were previously unimaginable. Your success will contribute to raising the collective vibration of consciousness on this planet. Every time you choose love over fear, every time you operate from integrity rather than manipulation, every time you use your power to uplift rather than control, you're adding to a growing field of positive energy that affects everyone and everything around you. The people you influence will go on to influence others, creating ripple effects that extend far beyond what you can see or measure. A single conversation you have with someone might change their entire trajectory, and they might go on to impact thousands of others in ways that trace back to your influence. This is the exponential power of authentic leadership and conscious influence. But this also means that your transformation is urgently needed right now. The world is facing challenges that require new levels of consciousness and new approaches to problem solving. The old ways of thinking and operating that got us into these challenges won't be sufficient to get us out. We need awakened souls like you to step forward and show us what's possible when someone operates from their highest potential. 11th, I need to prepare you for the moment when everything clicks into place and you fully embody your power. Because when that moment comes, it will be unlike anything you've ever experienced before. There will be a day, perhaps very soon, when you wake up and realize that you've completely shed your old identity and stepped fully into your new role as a conscious leader and powerful influencer. On that day, you'll look in a mirror and see someone completely different looking back at you. Not because your physical appearance has changed dramatically, but because the energy you carry, the confidence you embody, and the power you radiate will be unmistakably transformed. You'll see a leader looking back at you. You'll see someone who commands respect, who inspires others, who makes things happen. Your voice will sound different when you speak, not in tone, but in authority. Your words will carry a weight and a power that even you might find surprising at first. When you enter a room, the energy will shift to accommodate your presence. Conversations will naturally flow toward you, and people will instinctively look to you for guidance and direction. The Obsidian Inner Order is where you can process difficult realizations together every week on our Zoom calls with people who understand that some of life's most painful experiences become our greatest teachers. We don't encourage bitterness. We cultivate wisdom. Your ability to see people's true character is a gift that will protect you from future betrayals. Your willingness to forgive while maintaining boundaries shows strength, not weakness. Your wisdom was earned through experience, not given freely. Connect with people who value truth. Join the Obsidian Inner Order. Link in the description. But the most profound change will be internal. The self-doubt that might be whispering in your mind right now will be completely silenced. The imposter syndrome that might make you question whether you deserve success will vanish entirely. You'll operate from a place of such deep knowing about your worth and your purpose that external validation will become unnecessary. This doesn't mean you'll become arrogant or disconnected from others. In fact, the opposite will be true. Your confidence will be so grounded in authentic self-knowledge that you'll be able to connect with others more deeply than ever before. You'll be able to see their potential even when they can't see it themselves. And you'll be able to inspire them to reach for possibilities they never imagined. When this full embodiment occurs, you'll understand with crystal clarity why everything in your life happened exactly as it did. Every disappointment will reveal itself as a redirection. Every challenge will show itself as preparation. Every delay will prove to have been perfect timing. The seemingly random pieces of your life will suddenly form a beautiful and purposeful pattern that takes your breath away. Finally, as we reach the crescendo of this cosmic transmission, I want you to understand that everything I've shared with you isn't just possibility or potential. This is your destiny unfolding right now. The universe has already decided that your time has come. The cosmic spotlight is already swinging toward you. The only question remaining is how quickly you'll step into your power and claim what's rightfully yours. You are not reading these words by accident. You're not hearing this message by coincidence. Your soul called this information into your experience because it's time for you to remember who you really are and why you're here. The part of you that has always known you were meant for something greater has been patiently waiting for this moment when all the preparation is complete and you're ready to emerge into your full power. The universe doesn't make mistakes, and it certainly didn't make a mistake when it chose you. You have been specifically selected, carefully prepared, and divinely equipped for this role.